is Paul Murray, our tone. We are coming to you here from Caloundra RSL on the sunny coast. And there's plenty to do here right now, rain, hail or shine, including you're about to watch a fat bloke fall over and over and over again, because we were here last week. There we go, with a bit of Aussie world action, swearing aplenty, and a bit of fun a little bit later in the show. Now, a couple of things are obviously happening as we're on air right now, including southeast Queensland dealing with a lot of rain. Gympie, about an hour and a bit down the road, they have had 300 mils in the past 24 hours, and there is some fear of another 200 mils that might be coming as early as tomorrow. Sadly, a second person has died, as we've heard in all of this. So I just want to say, before we get into the fun, before we get into anything else, strength and love to everyone who is affected by this, and thank you to everyone who helps. Those people in the SES and the emergency services who give up their time at a moment's notice to take care of people in times like this. So hopefully the worst is behind us, but just in case, strong for everyone watching right now. Let's talk about Albo, okay? Before we get into the rest of things. What do we call him? What's that thing I call him? Oh, Each Way Albo. There we go. Now, as you know, Each Way Albo has that name because he is, of course, a great believer in saying one thing and doing another, saying one thing and changing it to another thing a little bit later. And as you know, the media is absolutely convinced that Albo is going to be the next Prime Minister of Australia. What about the people of Caloundra? Absolutely convinced that Albo is the next Prime Minister of Australia? This is the problem. We've actually got to check in with the people, but the media is where they are. So the profile pieces, the puff pieces, they have begun, including this one in the Financial Review, where Albo says, I'm going to do an Albo voice at one point, but he says, I'm as comfortable in boardrooms as I am in the pub. Just one of us, isn't he? But the thing that I love more than anything else about this is the photo that he took in his office in Canberra. How's this for a little bit of blue steel? Future Prime Minister, Each Way Albo. Oh, hello, ladies. What tax am I going to pretend I'm not introducing? Now, it is just one of a whole series of gushy profiles that were in the media, including the Women's Weekly. Probably good to skip this month because it has a big profile of the alternative Prime Minister where he talks about his love life. Fine, fair enough. But again, the model shots are coming out. Now, look, I get it. As a fat bloke, I'm envious of anyone who can lose weight. I seem to have put on the 20 kilos that he lost, but that's okay. That's cool. You know, here he is with his I'm not Bill Shorten look, followed by his I've got my running shoes on. What a subtle message to send about how agile and ready I am for the Prime Ministership. But God love the Daily Mail because they had a look at social media and how some of social media decided to react to these images. Get ready. Hubba hubba, looking amazing, fighting fit and ready to run the country. Oh my, Anthony Albanese, just yummy. I have a crush now, hot PM. And I have my first crush on a politician. It continues. Man, you're looking so hot, Albo. How do the real people feel in Australia? Now, of course, the greatest love letter, though, didn't come from Twitter. It came from his mates in China because the Chinese embassy came out today and said, we're willing to meet you halfway on repairing the relationship. Remember, Australia's done nothing wrong, so they have to come the whole way. But perhaps they know that if there is to be a change of Prime Minister, there will be somebody who'll meet them halfway when we've done nothing wrong, which technically means giving up half of what we already have. Get ready for Each Way Albo and KK taking care of the borders. Obviously, the biggest thing in the world right now is what's happening in the Ukraine. Now, as you know, Russia have come up with this sort of smart alecky way of trying to take parts of the Ukraine by declaring that essentially think of them as states or local council areas that have declared themselves to be independent. He promises to defend them. But the reality is that the defending is dropping a whole bunch of things a lot closer to the capital, Kiev. The images that have rolled across our television all evening at this stage are ones that haven't taken life, but we all know what's about to happen. Even a CNN reporter was live on TV today when all of this was taking place. Shells were going off, and you can see the person, Harry, hitting themselves as they were experiencing what was going on. As for those that are about to retire sometime soon, you might want to work a little bit longer because if your money's all in shares, they went down big time in Australia today. down $73 billion, best part of 3%. Expectation is the same thing will happen tomorrow. Oil stocks, chunk, price of gas, chunk. What a wonderful time for us to be getting rid of fossil fuels. Now, on the other side of things, while we know how we feel about it here, while we know how it's covered in the UK or the US, I wanted to show you the backpoop crazy stuff that is being fed to people in Russia. There's a TV station called Russia Today, RT. It is the propaganda arm of the Russian government. And what they do is they use American TV quality with British-sounding voices, yet completely do Kremlin talking points. And they have talk shows that pretend to look like things like this. But think of everything that you've heard and everything you know about what's happening in the Ukraine and listen to the garbage being fed back to people in Russia.
The Russians are coming. However, the Pentagon can't tell us when, where, or how they're going to invade, although reporters, or Pentagon stenographers as I like to call them, say their sources tell them it's coming in the next 48 hours.
Now, this Sheila also decides to blow up when the press secretary, Jen Psaki, you know that idiot who always talks about circling back, very passive-aggressive. She says, of course, that the world is united against what Russia is doing. So Russia Today disproved this policy by finding a titanic world leader, a massive country that is on Russia's side.
Is the whole world is not united on what the United States is doing, like the president of Nicaragua.
They're using Ukraine to provoke Russia, and Ukraine is looking to get into NATO.
Now, God love Nicaragua. Excellent cigars. But fair dinkum. This is the great world power that they're going for. And then they have their reporters in the field who do, you know, that war correspondent stuff where you crouch down, really serious, you've got a helmet on, you've got the vest. Pay attention to what they think is a war-torn part that Russia is now defending.
Another village that was hit over the course of this violent night, a 122mm mortar round. Here are the bits of shrapnel that caused all this damage, cutting down power lines as well as blowing out windows in nearby houses.
Oh no, the power lines! Seriously! A storm happens in Australia and that happens. And the front yard looks like somebody's been going around in a paddock basher, just doing donuts. Hardly war-torn. Anyway, now they were able to go and try to find some locals to again put a human face on the evil Western aggression. And when they couldn't find those, they talk about dogs.
Ukrainian shell landed in the middle of their village. Many were hiding in the basements, which may have saved their lives. No people were hurt.
The only person injured was that puppy. Now, we love puppies. We don't want puppies to be injured. But are we going to have World War III over a puppy? There are some dog owners I know that would be crazy enough to want to go to World War III, but enough about the people who vote for Zali Steggall. Now, our state governments have a go at us each and every day. They treat us like mugs and they think that they are so clever with their little media stunts here, there and everywhere. As you know, Sydney had a horrible time this week when the trains were shut down. Now, they weren't shut down because of a strike. They were shut down because a bureaucrat somewhere popped to bed and decided, cancel everything. Now, as you know, the minister apparently wasn't taking phone calls in the middle of the night. He's assured us he's now turned his phone off silent. But we learned today that the bureaucrats were planning this for some time. And according to taxpayer media, this was apparently a plan to shut down trains in Sydney for 2 weeks. Now, there's a very simple solution here for the Premier, and it's not to sack his minister. It's a solution for the minister when it comes to the bureaucrats. Piss off, you're fired. Done, right? How does this scenario play out? How do we get to this place where bureaucrats whose job it is to keep the trains running cancel all of the trains because 1 or 2 might not run? And not for a morning, not for an hour, but for 2 weeks. Here's the Premier saying why no one's been sacked yet.
that the decision that was made to shut the network down on Monday was 100% the right decision.
Now, in Victoria, as always, wanting to outdo New South Wales, they don't just have one problem, they have two big problems. One might result in an awful lot of criminals being able to get off the hook. The first is treating children like criminals. Despite the fact that masks are about to disappear, primary school kids still need to wear masks. Now, as I have pointed out with the data before, and it is not a way of being disrespectful to anyone who has got very sick or died as a result of COVID. But of the 200,000, about 194,000 kids, 0 to 9, who have got COVID, 4 people have died. Every single one of those. Horrific, tragic, awful scenario. But the idea that kids in year 3, in year 4, in year 5, in year 6 still have to keep wearing masks after their teachers don't have to wear masks, after their parents don't have to wear masks, is, of course, outrageous. Now, Bambi Eyes Sutton, the Chief Health Officer in Victoria, well, he couldn't be asked getting in front of a camera today, so he did what most cowards do, which is to tweet away when it comes to his actual response. If he wants to come on this show, feel free. We'll gladly have a conversation. We've still got 7,000 cases a day, and children aged between 5 to 11 currently have the lowest vaccination coverage, so this is an appropriate measure for their protection and for ours. It won't be forever. It should be for never, dickhead. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. These are kids. They will not get very sick. And for the older people who might get sick, remember, not once, not twice, but 3 times they have been boosted. And as we know, statistically, that means, yes, transmissibility keeps moving around, but your capacity to end up in hospital, ICU or death, way lower than where we were in 2020. For his part, Daniel Andrews said this.
The secondary school vax rates are much higher. Much higher. No, it's not. No, it's one factor. And obviously vaccinate. Yeah, no, but hang on. There's also, in primary schools, there's a whole lot of kids who can't get vaccinated.
But there are also a whole lot of kids in secondary school who aren't getting vaccinated.
Well, much less. Much less. I haven't got the exact secondary school vaccination. Sorry.
My question is, are the mask rules staying on for primary school kids because the vax rates are low for that age group?
I think we're in furious agreement, Samar. It's certainly a very significant factor, but it's not a mandate. It's not a binary thing where that's the only thing that matters.
Chairman Dan, do everyone in Victoria and the rest of the country a favour. See that tunnel behind you? Turn around, walk to the end, sit and don't come out. And you'll still win the election, but just don't come out for a while, okay? And our old mate, Queen Palaszczuk. Let us get to her in a moment. She kept you safe, guys. Come on, please. Dr. Young, she kept you safe every single day. Sure, they took too long to get you vaccinated, but they kept you safe. Sure, they ruined your business. They kept you safe. Oh, anyway, also in Victoria, we'll get to Queen Palaszczuk in a second. Apparently, 700 police in Victoria weren't actually technically police when they went out and did policey stuff. You see, they hadn't actually been sworn in properly. So there is every chance in the world that anyone who was arrested and charged might be able to get away with what they did because somebody didn't swear them in properly. So, to Queen Palaszczuk, where today, the Queen of Integrity, the gold medal winner for fakery, well, of course, she's serious about taking on integrity. That's why the laptop was wiped. She's so serious about integrity that guess what the Labor Party did in Parliament today? They used their numbers to stop documents being made public about the integrity crisis happening in Queensland right now. Now, Queen Palaszczuk, you might be able to convince most of the people who work up at Mount Cootha putting together the 6 p.m. news. But the people who actually watch it, they know this stinks. It's garbage. And when inevitably you get out of the way and Dr. Stephen Miles takes over, they will kick his ass and change the government. Oh, sorry, this is an opinion show, just in case you just in case you didn't know. Now, also, we talk about public sector wages, all the rest of it. We got some information today about other people's money. Other people's money being your money, our money, tax money. How's this? According to the ABS, they were able to work out the average weekly earnings of Australians. So work out whether you're average or not here. In the private sector, it's $1,700 per week. In the public sector, to be a public servant is $200 a week better. These are for people who have no risk, guaranteed gigs, not going anywhere. So times it out by 52, here's the difference. Compare the pair, as the Union Super ad would go. If you work for somebody in the private sector, it's $88,000 a year. You work for the government, $99,000 a year. No wonder these people didn't give a stuff about small business during the pandemic. No wonder these people don't care about how much they overspend on this, overspend on that, because they get paid every week, and sadly, they get paid more than you, but you pay them. Brilliant system. Now, as we know, there's been plenty of people that have been protesting against vaccine mandates. Of course, we know the ones in Canberra that took place a couple of weeks ago. There was the ones in Canada, which have just wrapped up. And as we know, things got very stupid in Canada. And by that, I don't mean the truck drivers. I mean the politicians who tried to ban them, the people who tried to literally go after the people who sold them coffee. It was illegal to give them fuel, despite the fact that it was freezing at night. But the A-grade moron is not blackface Trudeau in all of this. It's one of his MPs. Now, I don't know if you have ever honked your horn. Maybe you're saying hi, saying goodbye, saying hurry up, whatever the reason is. But did you know that if you've ever gone honk honk, you're a Nazi? Have a look.
How much vitriol do we have to see of honk honk, which is an acronym for Hail Hitler, do we need to see by these protesters on social media?
Seriously? Like this? Look, I don't remember much of school, and I probably wagged most of modern history. But I have not seen in the 7 billion documentaries about the Nazis and Hitler that honk honk meant anything in that period of time. The World at Colour, all of those shows, never. But they just make this stuff up. It's like when you say, I'm okay. Well, that's now a white supremacy symbol. It's garbage. They're not allowed just to make it up as they go along, but they think that they can. But the reality is that every time they do this, they make their future inevitable because people get their say. And every time you get the chance to dump people like this, as I tried to say about the Queensland government before the last election, flush this mob, get the domestos and flush again. Now, let us get to the events about why we're here and why we are in Caloundra, making the most of our time here on the sunny coast. Well, Aussie World. Now, Aussie World is this great theme park. It's been around since the 80s, really boomed in the 90s, and it is an absolute destination. But I do warn you, don't be 120-something kilos and have eaten before you start to film something for TV. Aussie World is a great example of if you build it, they will come. It started as an empty plot of land, then a pub went in the 80s. In the 90s, it started to become the theme park that it is today, and people love it. From all over the country, 200,000 people come here for a memory they'll never forget.
Anyone going up and down the Bruce Highway knows that Aussie World is in Palm View. It is a good old-fashioned gym which is packed with fun for the whole family. 30 different attractions, from a Illusionarium to things called the Ballroom Blitz, the Bug Run. But when we went to Aussie World, I said, let's go on the biggest one first. Ladies and gentlemen, the Redback.
You're about to see a fat man get very sick.
13 metres up, it turns you clockwise, then counterclockwise. They say that this one is for thrill seekers. I would also suggest people who have not had their breakfast.
Oh, jeez. Whoa, okay. Now, oh, wow. Oh, okay, don't close your eyes. This is how your washing feels.
And after being spun around like towels in a washing machine, I must say, Dizziness never felt so weird.
Oh, I forgot how high these things were. Hey! Wow! Oh, wow! Oh, too much spinning. I shouldn't have had that hot dog!
In Professor Boggleworth's Illusionarium Multiverse. In case you don't know what a multiverse is, it is a place of infinite dimensions and possibilities with mind-boggling conundrums everywhere, even ones that still confuse me.
Now this is very weird. This isn't moving. It's an optical illusion, but it makes you think that you are moving. Or drunk.
You can't be a beautiful theme park in Australia without an age-old classic Ferris wheel, and this one is from the 1930s. There's lots of rides for little kids too, or big ones in my case, and the Bug Run is a fantasy garden full of giant leaves, bugs, mushrooms and butterflies, and a roller coaster.
Very good. It's a little known fact that before, Australians used to go into a cardboard box to pick our prime ministers. This is how you used to vote. Each of the parties was a clown, and regardless of what happened, the country went to cushion.
It was time to get right back into a familiar groove, get behind the wheel and go for a good old-fashioned ride around the red shed.
Now at the go-karts, you apparently have to be this tall to drive by yourself, this tall if you want to ride with somebody else. No rules on how wide you have to be. Let's see if the dads fit in the kids' cars.
And after a hot, fun day in the sun, it is time to get soaking wet for the drive home.
I won't lie, of all of the things that I was looking forward to doing at Aussie World, this was number one. It's called the plunger, and I'm going to get very wet. I'm going to get soaked. Danger. Falling log. Thanks.
So if you're thinking about a holiday in Queensland, you've got to come to the sunny coast, and when you come to the sunny coast, you've got to come to Aussie World. It's a day your family will love and never forget.
It is awesome. Keep the applause going for Senator Matt Canavan and Andrew Wallace. He's the local member for Fisher. He kicks ass in the Senate. Good to see you both. And of course, Mr. Speaker, congratulations.
Thanks, Paul.
Excellent. You can eject me at the end of the show. Now, tell us about representing this area. It's an area that, just like everywhere else, full of normal people, top of the tree, people with the phones at their backside. But give me an idea about how, what's it like trying to spread across an area as cool as this?
Well, the people of Fisher, the people of the Sunshine Coast are not normal people. They are absolutely, they are soul of the earth people. And I've lived here for 30 years, and this is absolutely God's country, Paul. This is not just a fantastic place to live, but it's a great place to raise a family and start a business. This is a small business capital of the country. And it's full of people who are all usually from somewhere else. They've all come here from somewhere else around the country. And that's what really brings us together. We rely on each other in this community.
And it's that thing, Matt, where obviously, looking out across the whole state, this was the type of place that was able to limp along thanks to, Queenslanders travelling inside Queensland, but it desperately needed. Like Jimmy, who's came up and said g'day to me before, runs a cleaning business and talked about what it was like when the rest of the country couldn't interact with this place.
Well, even though a lot of people did okay through COVID with the government assistance, what have you, there is always pockets of businesses that did it really tough. And I was just talking to Tony here, his restaurant's done it tough the last couple of years. And we've got to make sure that we recognise the people that did do it tough through those years and not let it happen again now. We've got to open up now. We've got to get through this now. Enough's enough because those people have been suffering too long and we've got to get back to business.
Also, that nonsense video of the Premier, with the whole when you're smiling, slow-mo.
Worst striptease ever.
It was a shocker, wasn't it? Again, it's there's this view in Parliament House, right, about that freedoms are something that we can slowly hand back to you. But the reality is everyone sitting here and people like yourself know, like governments, as soon as they touch them, they should feel an electric shock and pull back, not slowly dole them back to you, Andrew.
I think most Australians have had an absolute gutful of all of the restrictions that have been on us for 2 years, and they just want to get back to their everyday lives.
Now, it's that thing, so, what about Each Way? Each Way Albo out there in the Financial Review with, I'm as great in a boardroom as I am in a pub. What's your sense about how I'm Not Shorten is playing in Queensland? Because obviously, if it's a different result, it might be a different result about the whole game.
Well, look, I don't think the attention's turned on to Albo yet. I don't think he's had the spotlight focused on him. We've been so focused on issues like coronavirus that he's been a bit of an irrelevance, and he's tried to make himself into an irrelevance. But over the next few months, it's 80 days or so to the election, and it's going to be a choice, as all elections are. And people need to run the ruler over Anthony Albanese. He's from the left. He's very extreme. He's trying to hide all that right now. He was very soft on borders 10 years ago. He was one of the key lieutenants who weakened our borders under Kevin Rudd and led to 50,000 people arriving here. His party is compromised on China. His deputy leader, Richard Marles, went to Beijing about 2 years ago and gave a speech saying we should have military cooperation with the Chinese People's Liberation Army. That's what he said. He said it in black and white, and now they're trying to walk
and then
away
took it off the internet.
Yeah, it disappeared, like most communists, it disappear things, right?
Yeah.
He just disappeared that speech, like a Stalin photo. It's just gone from his website. But he was the Labor Party deputy leader. Now, can we trust those sort of people with our country, with our independence, with our sovereignty, when we see what's happening around the real world right now?
Well, but also that other thing too, Andrew, which is Australia has already rejected Albanese. He was Rudd's deputy prime minister. He likes to pretend this is not part of the story, but he's been in the room multiple times when terrible decisions have been made. And even after they knew they were the wrong decisions, when they were in opposition, he kept voting for bad decisions. But again, do you get a sense when you walk the streets that what they said to you 3 years ago, they say different to you now? Now, I'm not talking about the nutty green that never voted for you, but you know the type of person who voted for you last time. Are they still coming up to you getting ready for this time?
Paul, one of the joys of being the Speaker of the House is that, I really have to remain neutral and not get...
Then let Matt have another crack.
So I'm going to hand it back to Matt. So it's just one of the joys of being the Speaker. So,
well, mate, I mean...
That in the courtyard.
Yeah, the office is pretty good too. But, I mean, look, we have to think about now what our place in the world is and what we need to do. And if there's one silver lining, and it's a terrible day, it's a tragic day for Europe, but how many more wake-up calls do we have to go through? And we should be waking up to ourselves big time right now that we have to get back our industry in this country. We have to forget about this. We're trying to build a clean economy to save the planet. We should be building an industrial economy to defend Australia.
Here.
That's what we should be doing, right? I don't know about you, but I've never seen Anthony Albanese take any position that would give me any confidence that he's willing to make the tough decisions to bring manufacturing back here, to keep our energy prices low, to stand up to the likes of Mike Cannon-Brookes and these people, a fellow Rabbitohs fan, who wants to shut down our coal-fired power stations. I mean, we should be building coal-fired power stations now, right? That's what we should be doing because we need to have... look at what Europe has got themselves into. Europe has now is let's face it, the reason that Russia is a bully, Vladimir Putin is a bully, and bullies are encouraged by weakness. And Europe is weak right now. They don't spend money on defence. They don't look after their own energy independence. And that's why this has happened. We cannot afford that to happen in our region.
100%. Well, it's this thing where literally Germany can't step up because they've got that gas pipeline. One last question about being Speaker. How do you not swear? Because fair income.
He just turns them off.
What's the tell? So when we're watching Question Time, what's the tell that Andrew's thinking something that Andrew's not saying?
Probably the steam coming out of my ears. I'm swearing on the inside, Paul. But, look, you've got to remain composed. If you're not composed, then, then you've lost control of the House. So it's very important that you keep your cool.
Good stuff. You're glad these guys are fighting for you. Give them a round of applause. To Matt Canavan, Andrew Wallace, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Senator, thank you very much. Let's get talking about that COVID recovery. And Georgia Simpson has spent plenty of time having a chat to local businesses about how they are making this place the best in the country.
Tourism is the beating heart of Queensland, even more so for regions like the Sunshine Coast. Pre-COVID, the sector would contribute more than $3 billion each year to the local economy. The Christmas holiday period just gone was meant to be the industry's saviour. Domestic borders finally open after almost 2 years of rolling closures, but it fell short.
When the borders opened up, we certainly didn't break records.
No one could have predicted the chaos as travellers scrambled to get PCR tests to comply with Queensland's travel requirements. Some made it by the skin of their teeth, others weren't as lucky. Interestingly, for the Sunshine Coast, the period between Boxing Day and the first week of January was good. With occupancy rates of more than 90%, things were finally looking up, but it was short-lived.
As we went into the second week and the third week, that occupancy certainly declined.
Monday, December 13, was the day Queensland borders reopened. It was what the tourism and hospitality industries had all been waiting for, finally able to welcome back thousands of interstate visitors. But as the Omicron wave broke out in New South Wales and swept into Queensland, Sunshine Coast businesses were actually worse off.
That was the one thing we really noticed, was there were people on the coast, people in accommodation, but they weren't getting out and about.
Tourists too afraid to venture out and about in case they were pinged as a close contact or actually caught the virus.
That comes down to a consumer confidence. So Omicron and I guess all the advice coming out of Queensland Health really kind of discouraged people getting out and about.
Cafe owner Melody Bonney has weathered lockdowns, border closures and now the Omicron wave.
There's been a lot of businesses closing down. We've lost a lot of shops in this arcade here. A neighbouring restaurant here has just closed down.
She's thankful her loyal local customer base keep coming back for her delicious fare. As the dust settles from the latest outbreak, her attention is turned to getting on with the job. She, along with thousands of other businesses, are open and ready for visitors.
It'd be nice to have that buzzing hub again like we used to.
With case numbers declining around the country and rapid antigen tests now the norm, the only way the sector will recover is if people book a holiday and experience all the Sunshine Coast has to offer.
We've got it all on the Sunshine Coast. We've got natural spaces, we've got great experiences, we've got the great mixture of the beaches and the hinterland. And I think what brings it all together is you can really holiday like a local.
Beautiful part of the world where we continue to celebrate it right after the break. It's Paul Murray live in Caloundra. They're a good crowd. How good's the crowd in Caloundra? God love you guys. Thank you very much. Again, Georgia Simpson, great reporting about not just small business, but now about tourism. Obviously, it's well known to all Australians there's plenty to do on the sunny coast, but now that, with the exception of Western Australia, you're freely allowed to move around the country. Come back to the sunny coast. It doesn't matter if it was 2 years ago or 10 or 20, you've got to come back, not just to support the area, but also to see the amazing things that this place has to offer.
Known for its beautiful beaches and relaxed atmosphere, the Sunshine Coast is one of Australia's favourite holiday destinations. But this region has so much more to offer than just sand and sea.
But the beach is certainly a great place to start. Where it's clear, happiness for some comes in waves. For those who don't like getting their feet wet, but are curious about what lies beneath, Sea Life can give you the best of both worlds.
We have everything. You know, we've got sharks, we've got rays, we've got sea jellies, sea horses. You can get up close and personal, touch a sea star. You can go and see the seals, and they're, you know, getting up to mischief half the time. We've got the little penguins.
The ocean tunnel is 80 metres long and holds 2.5 million litres of seawater. It's also home to hundreds of marine creatures, including Tsunami, a brown whipray the size of a king bed.
She's actually just coming across here for us right now.
Tsunami, give her a wave.
Yeah, we love Tsunami, and Tsunami by name, Tsunami by nature.
As you walk out of the tunnel, you can't help but notice these guys. Little penguins, aptly named as they are the smallest penguin species in the world.
Little penguins are much more common further south, but this one here, Ash, was found on a Sunshine Coast beach, which is quite unusual. Luckily, she's now living here at Sea Life Aquarium, where she gets fed 12 to 18 of these every day. It's a big one.
Yeah. There we go.
And the adventure wouldn't be complete without trying to find Queensland's most famous fish, Nemo. Back on dry land in Yandina is where you'll find sugar, spice and all things nice. The Ginger Factory is open 7 days a week. The quickest way to see the whole site is to jump aboard Moreton, an original sugarcane train more than 100 years old that's been lovingly restored.
I found this quite interesting. The best ginger in the world is grown right here on the Sunshine Coast.
Right here on the Sunshine Coast, just literally up in them there hills behind us. The conditions for growing ginger on the Sunshine Coast are absolutely perfect because we have humidity. We have heavy rainfall followed by bleating sunshine, and it just grows. It grows like crazy.
A factory tour and tasting is also a must while you're here.
You'll notice it does taste just like a cheesecake. It just shows you ginger doesn't always have to be hot and spicy.
Once you've found the Gruffalo, it's time to wave goodbye to the Ginger Factory and head up into the lush hinterland. Panoramic views with rolling green hills, perfect for grazing cows. And in true Australian style, the hinterland region has its own big thing. The barrel on the grounds of Clouds Vineyard at Mullaney. The venue has recently undergone a refurbishment and is a pioneer for local produce.
Everything's been transformed into what you see now. So it's a venue now for everyone, which supplies local produce, supports South East Queensland, and looking forward to all the guests coming to experience it.
The hinterland is full of hidden gems. It's a world away from the ocean, evident when you arrive in Montville, a small historic village with a unique charm. It's hard to believe it's just 45 minutes from the beach. The Sunshine Coast is vast and varied, and if you want to end your holiday on a high, Paradise Seaplanes is the way to go. Designed in the 1950s and built in Poland, the Wilga 80 is an observation aircraft. There's only a handful left in the world.
There are only 4 Wilga 80s in Australia. This is the only one that we know of in the Southern Hemisphere that's on floats.
Stable at slow speed and quiet, it's the perfect way to see the sunny coast from above.
And it's such an amazing perspective from this altitude. You know, if you go too much higher, you lose all the detail. At this altitude, we can see all the people and the dogs running down the beach, and we're high enough that you get this amazing panorama of probably the most beautiful place, I think, in the world.
The last part of the flight is steep, but the landing was so smooth it's hard to tell that the flight is over. The Sunshine Coast really does have something for everyone, and it's easy to see how the tourism sector in this region generated more than $3 billion a year pre-pandemic. So get visiting.
They are proud of their tourism industry, and why wouldn't there be 3 great examples of them here? End of the table, Tony Kelly's the director of the Kelly Restaurant Group, Jason Earls with the big cart track, and Carl Main is with Ocean View Helicopters, lads. Hello. Now.
All right, mate.
Hello.
That's it.
What are the go-karts like in the wet? Because it must have been fun today.
It was great. It's good.
So all of you, I know the answer is terrible, but give me which version of terrible the past couple of years have been. What was it like for you trying to run restaurants? Of course, you got locals. Yes, you had Queenslanders, but restaurants aren't just for Queenslanders.
Yeah, we got proper beat up right at the start of it. The sort of March 2020 was hellfire for us. So we came out the other side strong because we're very local based, but at the start it was a horror story, that's for sure.
Obviously, international tourism is so important for people to be able to go and have the incredible view of the ocean, see things like they do. Has that been how it came at you the past couple of years?
Yeah, it's been very quiet, but first 3 months into it was really quiet, and then
just got to I'll try and make positives out of it all. And the locals, massive thanks to those guys for supporting local businesses. Without them, yeah.
And then what was it like for you those first couple of months where you're looking at the books, you're having a chat, you're pulling your hair out about what you had to do? I mean, literally, you were Fabio-esque at the start of this.
It was really tough at the start because we obviously, being a non-essential service, we had to lock down. We were out of no work for a couple of months, and then we came back on board with JobKeeper, and that was good. And then when we did reopen to the public, we had restrictions with numbers, and so that was challenging, but we've got through it. And then people wanted to just get out there when they could come back to businesses, and just we were hit hard. It was good.
Of all of the COVID rules you had to deal with, what was the dumbest one that they put on you? Like density limits for a go-kart, okay. You know, there's only one person in them, but...
I reckon policing the mandates from the business's perspective was horrendous, because as a double vaxxed, and I'm vaccinated and I believe in it, but I'm also very much pro-choice, and for it to be put on a venue's shoulders to have to police that, I think that was super tough, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, are there social distancing rules in helicopters?
Bit tough, isn't it?
I was going to say, yeah. Sorry, pal, you're just holding on. But it's that thing where... So let's talk about now. Let's get to the times when things are moving again. Are you anywhere near normal now?
Oh, yeah. No, as soon as we were allowed to reopen to the public, everyone just wanted to get out there and do something. So, every weekend we've been pumping. It's been really good and busy. And the double vaccination mandate did cause some issues at the start, but eventually, things have just powered.
You must have felt sometimes like bank tellers. We're going, I don't own the thing, mate. We've been told to do it, and if we don't do it, then we're going to lose everything. What about now? Is everything pumping back where it was? What does the rest of the year feel like for you?
Depending on the weather. We're getting there. Everything's opening up, phone's going off, and getting busier and busier, which is good.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, obviously, you guys were running at full tilt before. It's not like you can double the capacity of any of your places to make up what you lost. But how does it feel for the rest of the year when you've got so many different restaurants all over the coast?
Look, it's good. I think people are out there. They're eating. You've seen tonight here. It was busy. So people definitely want to get out and spend their money. The big thing for us is to see these international borders reopen and get some of these students back, because 30% of our workforce were internationals. They're the people that wanted to work sort of 10 or 15 hours a week, and that basically doesn't exist in hospitality anymore. So as soon as the students come back and we can pick up some more casual labour, the restaurants will be running at full tilt, and we can sort of put this mess behind us.
Same for you? You need those people who can only work a little bit?
Yes, and the international market will make things improve too.
And if there's a backpacker with a pilot's licence, that's really helpful for you. Lads, I do appreciate it. Thank you very much for everything you made through. Anyone who owned a business that survived after it is a freaking hero to me. So seriously, thank you very much, lads. I do appreciate it. And everyone else. We really do. Our mates at Harvey Norman, of course, make our town possible, and they are huge supporters of getting little girls to live their dreams when it comes to female sport.
Our kids. We want the world for them, and if there's anything the past couple of years has thrown into absolute focus, all we really want is for them to be happy. To find enough joy to override the inevitable heartaches and setbacks of life. Part of that is finding a career that they'll be passionate about, something where they'll find fulfilment and a whole chunk of purpose. But for a little girl, and you wanted a career playing footy, that's been a pipe dream until recently.
Playing rugby league when I was 12, obviously had to walk away from the game. There was no opportunities for young girls, so in my junior years I was the only girl amongst many boys. I didn't play a game of rugby league from the age of 12 to 18. That one.
Thanks to the NRLW, the days of our girls being held back is way behind us. Enter Harvey Norman. They are unrelenting in the backing of women's sport and ensuring that those pathways are cleared And in Queensland, that is through the Mini Maroons program, where kids get a chance to see their heroes train for the upcoming NRLW season.
And I can't wait to see Ali and her team play. My dream is to go to the Olympics in Brisbane in 2032. I'm going for the Broncos. They are my local team and I know they'll be champions again. Yeah, I've been a rugby league fan since I was little. I feel like it's just me when I do it. Now I want to play for Australia one day.
Just those opportunities to be a part of the Harvey Norman Mini Maroons and being invited to games, having little teams that you're a part of and made feel a part of the game would have been life-changing, I think. Yes, I'm lucky I get to pull on those jerseys now and I get to be a part of it now, but I missed out on so many opportunities. Mum and Dad were always taking me to these carnivals where it was the little girl walking in and the parents whispering about that little girl coming in, hey, she's playing rugby league, or it's frowned upon. But now these girls don't have to do that. They can stand tall and play the game that they love and never be told any otherwise.
And if you haven't got the message yet that girls can be professional footballers, it is about to become even clearer. NRLW Titans player Karina Brown and ARIA-nominated singer Jess Harlan have collaborated on a song about just that, telling our girls that no matter what sport they're into, at whatever level, they can imagine themselves as an elite professional athlete. They can reach their goals.
Yeah. Yes. And we really wanted to then sort of put into a song, a really strong message about we want the next generation of young girls to have role models and for them to have self-confidence and self-belief to do whatever the hell they want to. And then, we're providing those opportunities for them.
I like the line where we say, she signs her name, we can proclaim the future's here. Because it's about getting those big contracts and it's about remuneration and getting acknowledged just the same as our male counterparts.
So from now to the kick-off of the NRLW season and beyond, we want all little girls to remember that footy is a dream they can go after and a goal they can achieve.
I just want to be back in the action doing what I love, what I've loved doing for so long. And again, just being able to be a role model and for all the young girls and boys watching and to, especially for young girls, to go, you know what, I can do that one day. I can be a Titan. It's going to be pretty incredible.
Just be resilient. People may say things, people may say the sport isn't for you, but the sport is for all females, all types of gender.
Have I mentioned I have the best job in the world? In a second, one of the cutest helpers who help people here on the sunny coast. More in a sec, live from Caloundra. Hello, buddy. Hello. Thank you very much for watching. Well, you've already met Master Archie, but let's have a chat about why Archie is awesome, but also meet some other people here that do great things on the sunny coast. Let's introduce James McClellan, who is a legend in beach lifesaving here, more than 1,000 lives saved, mate, well played. Ian Smiley is the director of PTSD Dogs Australia. Doug is the man who's happily, what do we say, companion of? What's the official way of talking of partner of Archie?
He's mainly a companion dog, and we visit aged care and veterans who are, in the aged care places.
Now, obviously, I can give you a cuddle like Archie if you'd like at any time. That's
Please
just
do.
Yeah, just so we can all feel at one here. But tell us, Ian, about what goes into puppy into being able to be as beautiful and well trained, etc.
Okay, so there's two main elements to what we do. The first thing is the dog. Right? And we're a little bit different from other organisations that work in the same space, in that we actually rescue dogs, right? That
Wow.
from pounds and things like that. Basically, dogs that are unwanted, and basically their future would be to be euthanized, right? So essentially, what we do is we identify those dogs that are suitable for training, and we take them from those rescue situations. We train them, okay, and we match them with a handler, and that's the term, okay,
there we go.
Doug was reaching for, okay. And in our case, obviously, right, we're matching them with people who have got PTSD, right? Post-traumatic stress disorder, right? Which is a mental health condition, right? And the dogs can be trained, right, so that they are able to recognise, right, the changes, right, that occur, right, in people's condition and so on as their anxiety grows, right? So, and they can be trained to recognise those symptoms. They're basically chemical reactions, okay? And then they can respond in a way, right, that eases those the impact on the individuals, right? So, so that's essentially in a nutshell what it's all about, anyway.
So Doug, for you, what do you get out of the relationship?
Everybody loves a dog, and when you take it around to, you know, visit veterans and widows of veterans and that, you see how much joy, like just happened with you, they jump up on their lap and it puts a smile on their face.
It's gorgeous. Now, obviously, I don't qualify for your service, but I think as soon as my girls see that, tomorrow morning it's going to be, Dad, we're getting a puppy. Eventually, ladies. Eventually, we'll get there. James, 1,000 lives saved. That is an incredible thing. What draws you to continuous service?
You could say I'm a bit silly, but of course I won't. I started with my older brother and younger brother and sister, and it just keeps going. I mean, the joy of helping somebody. And if I quote the motto from the Royal Life Saving Society that from London in 1890s, whomsoever you see in distress, recognise in them a fellow human. And I think that's important. And to help people, it's great.
So have you seen the types of technologies that help from when you start? I mean, it feels like a world away. Tell me about, say, your first couple of years on the beach compared to the gear you got now.
It's what us, rescue ski, sometimes rescue board, a reel online, which was going out, slowing down a bit, and that's it.
Wow.
My younger brother and I did a big rescue, took about 1.5 hours out through the Caloundra Bar, down to Bribie, swimming with these two girls, and it was just us. That was it. Now, with the IRB, the inshore rescue boats, it's a different world.
It
really is.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to ask you all about what you get from giving. So, Ian, as a bloke, what do you get from giving?
It's all about giving back for me, Paul, and I think that's probably common to a lot of people who do volunteer. PTSD Dogs Australia is only one of the organisations that I'm involved with. I won't go into all the others, but I think it's the same. I'm retired these days. I'm a self-funded retiree. I've had a good life, okay, and I think this country, right, has looked after me pretty well, right, and I think that people have, if they've got the capacity, once they do get to my stage in life, okay, to give back, right, to the community, to their country, right, that's given so much to you, right. Yeah. So that's my motivation anyway, Paul. So.
Doug, what's it like for you to give, to be able to look into somebody's eyes, make their day better? What do you get out of it?
With our military and what they've done for us over the years, and our first responders who give so much, I think I've had a good life, and to be able to give my time free and, you see the smiles on different people's faces and that. And, I can't see much more than what Ian said. Yeah.
He says it very well. It's good. And James, what about for you? What feeling do you get from being part of a community, being such an integral thing that literally hundreds of people can feel safe at the same time because people like yourself do what you do?
Look, yeah, it's just a great feeling. What Ian and Doug have both said, I probably can't improve on that much more. But it's helping the person, knowing that you are helping the person. And most people out there are good people, and they smile, they appreciate what we're doing. It's a good feeling, and everybody's safe as well, especially with the drowning rate increasing by 20% from financial for the last financial year.
Seriously?
20%. Kids under 5, where it was 25, increased 108% from 20 to 21. And that's one of the worst years increase we've had across Australia.
This is it. If you can, train your kids, and obviously make sure that you just don't do things that you, just because you used to be able to do it a few years ago or you've never done it before, don't do it. Take it easy, because it goes pretty quickly. Lads, thank you very much. Thank you for what you do. I'm sure your community appreciates you as much as I do. Thanks very much. We'll make sure that we've got all up on socials, how people can donate and do their part as well. At the other end of things, the future leaders of this community, what do they say when you say Caloundra to them?
Just an hour from Brisbane, on the southern end of the Sunshine Coast, is Caloundra. The pristine coastline has been tried and tested by the town's littlest experts. Caloundra State School students have a holiday tip for holiday makers. Make sure you go for a swim.
My favourite thing to do at the beach is swimming and playing in the water.
What's your favourite thing about Caloundra?
I don't know. The beach. There's lots of fun activities that you can do. There's lots of mountain biking tracks. I always go there every weekend to ride my bike. And I sometimes fall off. Swimming.
Swimming? Whereabouts do you like going swimming?
Near Caloundra.
If swimming isn't your thing, there's heaps of other activities to choose from.
I like running around and playing with trees, like playing on trees.
Do you climb the trees?
Well, we're not really allowed to, but you can hang off trees.
What's the best thing to do in Caloundra?
Having lots of friends.
After some running around, the ideas kept on coming.
My favourite thing is to bounce on the trampoline at Mullaney. My favourite thing is swimming in my pool. My favourite thing is riding with my brother.
It seems most of the kids want you to get out and enjoy the great outdoors.
My favourite thing is going to the water park. My favourite thing is riding my bike at the skate park and doing wheelies. My favourite thing is going for swims in my swimming pool at home. I love going to Ollie World. I like riding my bike. I like going to the roller skating place. I like going to the roller skating place. I like riding my bike. I like going to the park.
And there's so many great places to holiday in Australia, and if you're unsure about Caloundra, then this might help to seal the deal.
And what's the best thing about Caloundra?
You have schools.
Really? How many schools do you know?
Almost 6 or 7.
So if someone wanted to come on holiday to Caloundra, the reason they should come here is because there's so many schools.
Yeah.
That is my favourite thing we do every time we do in our town. Speaking as well about people who help, the great military veterans of this country is one himself, none other than the great Heston Russell, who's in the audience tonight. Give him a round of applause. We love this bloke. Running for Parliament up for the next little while. Give us a wave, big boy. He's a good man. We thank him for his service and good on him for being here. Plenty to do more here in Caloundra, live on Sky News tonight. Rita Panning about 30 minutes. Inside this beautiful champagne thing, we have got tickets to win Paul's Meat. Hello! As everyone is fanning themselves here on a very humid sunny coast, but that's just me and a story I shared with the audience just moments ago. Now, the winning ticket to get all of that meat will be this one, which is a grey ticket. The letter X. Who's still in the running with an X? 72. X72, where are you? We got a winner? You, sir, have won my meat. And look how thrilled he is at the idea of it. There he is. The happiest man on the Sunshine Coast who won Paul Murray's meat. God love you, big boy. All right. Now, Lang Walker is one of the legendary Australians. The Walker Corporation helped brought us here tonight, and we very much appreciate their support. And they have got some big plans for the Sunshine Coast. I had a chance to talk to the great man, but before we get to that, some of the great things that are planned for this part of Australia.
Our regions, our backbone, the foundation of Australia. They've been the subject of a buying bonanza recently, with pandemic-weary Aussies moving out of lockdown-laden cities and moving to freedom and the fresh air of the bush. Now, needless to say, we're ripe for a regional renaissance. And when it comes to business, our regions have been on the back foot, considered peripheral, a bit out of the way compared to city counterparts. But fortunately, there are people who want to change that right here on the sunny coast.
And public transport.
So here's the story of the Walker Corporation. Their $2.5 billion investment into the Maroochydore City Centre will transform the region into one of the most advanced economies in the whole country. 160,000 square metres of commercial and retail space, more than 15,000 jobs will be here over the life of the project. Maroochydore is set to become an even bigger spot on the map.
It's the largest CBD north of Brisbane, so it will generate in excess of $4 billion of value to the Queensland economy. So it's a massive opportunity for this region as it matures.
The mere fact that sleepy little Maroochydore, sleepy little Sunshine Coast, the collection of townships that the Sunshine Coast was, is going to now have a focal point called a CBD, is just absolutely essential to the future of the Sunshine Coast.
And for the people already on the sunny coast, this is life-changing stuff. Rather than having to wave Maroochydore goodbye to chase a career somewhere else, the career can be here, and they couldn't be more ecstatic.
It's exciting for me to see, from a businesswoman's perspective and also a mother, the development that what this development will bring to our area. Will mean that there are sophisticated jobs and careers more here on the Sunshine Coast versus having to exit and go away. So if you choose to go away, it's a choice versus a necessity. That the majority of us who grew up here on the Sunshine Coast, it was just what you did, was finish year 12 and then move on. So what this will bring is it will bring larger organisations, which will allow those of us that are already here to have more larger size clients.
Now, the Sunshine Coast economy is expected to expand from $17 billion to $33 billion by 2033. The city centre will be supported with some big ticket items, like an international submarine broadband cable, an airport expansion and rail infrastructure.
Being able to connect people and getting them off the Bruce Highway, I think is really important. Also the connections to the airport, and with the recent announcements and the work that's been done at Sunshine Coast Airport, I think that heavy rail provides another really important link to the airport, to Brisbane and to the broader community. Being able to connect places like Caloundra to the city centre is just as important as connecting them to Brisbane.
So next time you think of Maroochydore as out of the way or too far removed, you are wrong. Because there's a group of people who are working to change that way of thinking and change this place for the better, for good.
Walker's involvement in Maroochydore CBD will be the making of the Maroochydore CBD, and it will be the making of the commercial hub, if you like, of Maroochydore and the Sunshine Coast. Without putting it too high, without Walker's involvement, probably this CBD wouldn't be what it is going to be, and it certainly wouldn't happen within the time frame that is going to happen in the hands of Walker Corporation.
As I say, the Walker Corporation very kind to support us with our town here getting to the sunny coast, and I had a chance to talk to its legendary boss, none other than Lang Walker, in their headquarters just a couple of days ago. Lang, it's an honour to meet you. Thank you so much for the chat.
Thank you, Paul. Good to see you.
I admire anyone who wants to dream to change the skyline. I admire even more somebody who can change the skyline. That's something you're planning to do on the Sunshine Coast, but it's something you've done your whole life. What's it like to go for a drive and see how you changed a place for the better?
Well, it's very exciting. You have a look at the Finger Wharf at Woolloomooloo. That was going to be demolished, and look at it today. It's been a great success. Other projects, King Street Wharf, that was another project that was dilapidated and going nowhere. It was really great to get involved with that. Roads, that whole Rhodes Peninsula, that was something that if you looked at that 23, 25 years ago, it was all contaminated, and you see it today. It's just absolutely amazing what's happening out there. If you look at Parramatta in 2014, we looked at it. I took my wife out there and I said, look, I'm going to develop all this. And she said, good luck. And I said, well, thanks for the support.
Yes, thank you, darling.
And it took her out 6 months later and she said, oh, I can see what you're talking about now.
So when you see opportunity, how does it visualise for you? Do you see an empty field and then you can start to see, well, that'll go there, that'll go there? Obviously, there's great complications in how you do that, but is it like a musician who's got musical notes in their head? Can you see buildings?
I can actually see things finished.
Yeah.
And, seeing it finished, it's in some respects easy to then go back to first base and then start building it. How do we get to, in your mind, what's this thing going to look like? Is it better if we push that over there and move something in another position, and just how it comes together? One of the important things is the ground plane and the activation, the Finger Wharf. The heritage people didn't want to have restaurants down there, and really it's the restaurants and the marina that bring all the people and the visitors down there to eat. And for 21 years it's been open now, it's still really popular. So Collins Square is another $3.5 billion project in Melbourne that was tumbleweed when we started. We put in 6 office towers. We're about to put in 2 more, and integrating which was the longest goods shed in the country until they extended Collins Street. So we're going to reconnect Collins Street, the goods shed, underneath Collins Street again, and bring that heritage back into the Collins Square.
To do what you've done, do you have to be patient or impatient?
No, you've got to be very patient, very patient. Not all the things that we do, strike an accord with some of the authorities, and, you've got to be very patient and go through, and you've got to do the homework and, I guess bring people along the journey so eventually they're seeing the things that we're seeing.
So at Sunny Coast, they get their turn now. I know there's phenomenal things, and I've spent plenty of my life at Robina Town Centre in the Gold Coast. So tell us, what is the Sunny Coast going to see?
Well, there's a great opportunity there, and to the council's wisdom and foresight, they kept the old golf course intact. It's 53 hectares right in the centre of Maroochydore, and it's probably the only master plan CBD that hasn't been affected by small buildings and a lot of history of buildings. We have
the blank
canvas, yes, and we can start there, and that just gives you the opportunity. We're bringing water, lakes into that. The rail network, it will become an Olympic city, bringing in the convention centre, the TOD, the transit orientated development that integrates everything, and restaurants along the Corso that the council had built before. So it's just activating the whole precinct. But very few places in Australia have got a blank canvas, and that's going to make a huge difference to how that all comes back. But it'll be an exciting city. When you look at the Gold Coast, where is the CBD? Is it Southport? Is it Bundall? Is it the Cavill Avenue? Is it Robina? It's spread out, and this opportunity for the Sunshine Coast is amazing.
And to concentrate business in one area, apart from all the technology that can be funneled into it. It means that similar industries can collaborate easier. It means that it becomes a place that people will migrate to from other cities. You could run a global business from the sunny coast once this thing's done.
I think the thing that everyone's looking at now is the transportation hubs, both light rail, heavy rail, and bringing in, they've just spent $600 million on the airport. So it's a hub, but all of the master planned communities and CBDs that we do all relate around the transportation network. If you look at Parramatta, you've got light rail, heavy rail, you've got the metro, you've got the WestConnex on either side, you've got a bus interchange, but it all focuses in on Parramatta, and that's why it's buzzing today.
What's your sense of the future for the Sunshine Coast? As you say, it'll play a role in the Olympic Games. There's a lot between now and there's a lot after then. What's your feel for the Sunshine Coast?
I think it's got a huge opportunity. We wouldn't be there if we didn't think that, but it's going to grow to 500,000 people, maybe 600,000-700,000 over the next 15, 20 years. But it's, again, post-COVID, you've got the opportunity that people want to work closer to where they live. And if you get those transportation nodes correct, there'll be, it's just, you've got Brisbane, you've got the Gold Coast and Sunshine. If they're all connected with proper transportation in various modes, whatever that is, then it's going to grow enormously. It just brings, the transportation brings everything together, and that's what'll be the success.
Got room for a TV station? Because I think I might like living on the Sunshine Coast.
You better check with the boss.
He's a great man. It was awesome to have the chance to talk to him, and it's a wonderful thing that might be coming its way to the sunny coast. We thank very much the Walker Corporation as well as Harvey Norman for making this thing possible. Now, Rita Panahi's up after us. We continue to celebrate the sunny coast. She tonight is going to be pointing out one of the great Twitter people who is running for the Senate at the election. It'll be fun, but plenty more between now and then here on Paul Murray Live. They clap all the way through the break. Thank you, guys. Do appreciate it. God love Caloundra RSL, the people of the sunny coast. They're fired up all night for us. I really do appreciate it. So good to be back on the road when it comes to our town. Looking forward to doing it at least once a month. And we're also got some special things planned when it comes to the election. In the meantime, let's keep talking to people who make things happen here on the sunny coast. Simon is with Saltwater Eco Tours. Josh is with Creative Tours and Events and Craft Beer Tours. There we go. Good business card. Simon, obviously times have been tough, but let's end on a positive. How are things holding up for you guys at the moment? And tell me about what you do.
Yeah, I'm a bit of an optimist, so I've always been able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's been up and down. It's been tough. But now, borders are opening. Things are improving. I hope we can see some international visitors pretty soon. For myself, we're affected heavily by the weather, so this weekend is not looking all that great for us, but we're also heading into dry season. So, again, light at the end of the tunnel.
Good stuff. What are you guys doing? How do people find you? What do you guys do?
Yeah, so we run tours to local food producers, breweries, wineries, distilleries. We've got a thriving craft beer scene here on the sunny coast, 21 breweries.
Whoa.
So we take people to have a good time, really. So we've had a challenging 2 years. It's been a roller coaster, not like your Aussie World experience roller coaster. A little more challenging.
Yeah, slightly more, yeah.
But I feel I'm an optimist too, and I feel like there is a little shift in forward bookings, which is an encouraging sign, but still a long way to go.
So people that are watching us right now, all over the map, you want them to come to the sunny coast. Tell them, where do they find you online? Where do they find you on Facey? So they can book tonight.
Yeah, find us, Saltwater Eco Tours. So you can find us online, our website, Facebook, Instagram. There's links on there to book. Come and check us out. We're an eco-tourism, Indigenous tourism company based here. So we've got a 114-year-old timber historical vessel. We do tours on the water, something a little bit different, a little bit unique. But yeah, come check us out.
Good stuff. Here's the big plug. Where do people find you?
They can check us out at creativetours.com.au. We run a range of bespoke foodie experiences. Like I said, tours to breweries, wineries and distilleries. You can't have a bad time on our tours.
Awesome. Lads, really do appreciate it. Give them a round of applause because You blokes deserve a hand again. Small business that goes all in. Well done, lads. I do very much appreciate it. And thank you for tonight, guys. How good's the sunny coast in full roar? Thank you so much to the Walker Corporation. Thank you so much, of course, to Harvey Norman. Without them, these shows are not possible. I sincerely thank everyone behind the scenes who makes these things happen. We care about regional Australia. We care about normal Australia. We want to come here when times are good because there have been too many tough times in the past little while. It is all of our responsibilities as Australians to see the country that we love, to visit the place that we know is better than anywhere else. Tonight you get a little taste of the sunny coast, and these shows are all about a celebration of every part of the map that you should absolutely visit. So from here in Caloundra, read us on the telly now. We'll see you soon. Bye, guys.